So in this lesson, I'm going to make the goal swing incredibly simple. So who's this lesson going to be for? Well, it's for any of you out there who feel like you've lost your goal swing. You know, you were playing great, you've suddenly gone downhill, you can't seem to get it back. Or someone who's just bogged down with swing thoughts. You're thinking too much about where your backswing goes and what your arm should do and what your head should do. So I'm going to do a little experiment. Feel free to do it with me. I want you to get a piece of paper, and you can see me doing it here, and you're going to take a pen or a pencil, and you're going to try and draw two pretty straight lines. The first one, I want you to go as slow as you can and as deliberate as you can. And the second time, I want you to go pretty brisk. So put the pen down and just give it a pretty quick draw of a line. And have a look at them. What you're going to see, well, the one that was slow and deliberate is going to have a lot more imperfections. It's going to have a lot more kind of wobbles, and it may even deviate offline. It's certainly not going to be that appealing to look at as a straight line. The second one is going to be much smoother. It's going to have a lot more flow to it, and it's going to have felt a lot more natural. The same thing applies to the golf swing. It's no different. When I stand over the golf ball and I'm thinking about what my hips are doing, and I want to have the club face pointing more down, and I want to tuck my right arm in, and I start to become deliberate, the golf swing often becomes slower, and we start to get the same thing as we would do when we drew that line. We get imperfections, we get little idiosyncrasies that we don't really want. So I'm going to give you a little three-stage process to make your swing simpler, easier, and much more consistent. So the first little exercise would be, take your hold of the golf club. Okay, I want your grip pressure to be incredibly light, okay? Put the club out here and just let it drop down a little bit, and again, I'm really feeling that grip pressure is incredibly light. Notice how my feet are together. I'm going to keep my feet together, I'm going to tip over, the club doesn't have to reach the ground, and I'm going to keep my chest facing the golf ball. And as I do that, I just want to let my arms fold and the club swing. The key here is to just make sure that the club head gets higher than my head, both sides of the golf ball. Now again, my grip pressure here could not be lighter. And I'm just sensing and feeling the weight of the club. What is that club doing relative to my body? It's swinging around my body. What are we trying to perform in a minute when we hit a shot? A golf swing, clues in the name. So again, what do you see from there? Well, very often people have snatchy moves away like this, where the club doesn't get too high, or they're too tense on the way through and they don't let the club swing. Or maybe you're someone who actually doesn't let the club swing at all, and this little exercise is difficult because you instinctively want to use all of your body. So exercise one is try and remove the body and just let that club swing around your body. Now, there's no reason why you can't just set up the golf ball, feet together, feel like the chest points down at the golf ball, and actually make that little movement. It's not going to go particularly far, but you should be able to get the center of the club lined up with the ball fairly easily. So that's us understanding and getting the club to swing around your body. The next stage is to say, well, actually, we kind of do need some body in this shot. You know, it's not just all arms. We've got to get the body married up with that. So the next exercise is to one hand only. This time, you're going to use your right hand to create some speed in the club, because we do need some speed. And you're going to use a step drill with some rotation. So I'm going to put my feet together. I'm going to get my same feeling that I had a moment ago, that I let the club swing back. But this time, I'm going to step forward, and I'm going to really accelerate the club through. Notice where I'm finishing, notice where the club is finishing. So now I've got a swing of the club, but I'm marrying it up with what the body's doing. But again, look at how nice and natural this is. It's not overly thought about. I'm not thinking about positions. I'm trying to create a golf swing. Can you do that with a ball? Of course you can. Am I going to do it? We'll give it a go. It's not that easy. So this is obviously far more difficult, and I would maybe suggest that you don't always do this with the ball, because it can give you some weird and wonderful results. But let's have a go. So I'm going to swing back, step, swing through. So we go back, step, swing through. Little heavy. Not a great strike, but actually on that exercise, you're not going to get great strikes. It's more to just marry up what the body and the club are doing. And then we move on to the third little exercise, which is trying to create a swing where the ball gets in the way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my setup some maybe 2 to 3 feet back of the ball. I'm going to make my swing where the club is swinging. And as I do that, I'm going to start stepping into the golf ball. And at some point, I'm going to arrive at the golf ball and I'm going to make contact. Again, we're trying to get away from this static start, this starting from here and overthinking it and putting the club in the right positions. That rarely ends well. What this little exercise does is it starts you to swing the club, and because you're swinging it naturally, you eventually arrive at the golf ball and the ball gets in the way. That's gone in the water, but that's only because I wasn't putting full speed in. So we're starting the motion here, and you've got 3 or 4 paces to start to build that rhythm, that swing, and you start to feel and sense the golf club swinging around your body. That's really, really key. Great golfers tend to have less thoughts. Yes, there might be some things they're working on in practice, there might be some ideas that they've got in their golf swing, some concepts, but they're not overthinking it, and they're certainly not trying to position or place the club or the body in any positions. They're swinging the club around their body freely. That's really key. So what they want to do is put that into a shot. Now the key thing here, if I want that to happen, keep moving. Notice how my feet are moving, the club is moving. I don't want to be static over the ball for too long. It's really hard to get a nice flowing swing when you're starting too statically. So keeping the club moving, keeping the feet moving, really sense and feel the weight of the club and just swing it around my body.